My name is Aubrey Leitch, and I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA. And I was a part of the recent kind of mass termination group at Turning Point.
I've seen enough. Erika Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. Like I said, you can show me the person who disagrees with me on that.
Erika Kirk's ex-personal assistant is now taking legal action against her, and the details coming out are raising serious eyebrows. The claims are intense, with allegations that Erika may have crossed the line with someone on her own team, even causing a serious head injury during an incident. This situation has turned into a full legal fight, and it's starting to paint a version of Erika that looks very different from the calm, grieving widow image people have been seeing. If any of this holds up, it could shift how everything is viewed in a big way. For a long time, Erika was mostly known as Charlie Kirk's wife, keeping a low profile as a stay-at-home mom with a strong, faith-focused image. That was the public perception, simple and steady. But after Charlie's passing, everything seemed to flip almost instantly. She didn't just remain in the background. She stepped right into the spotlight as the head of a massive organization reportedly worth around $250 million. And that sudden shift had people asking questions right away. A lot of people couldn't help but wonder how someone with little visible leadership experience could step into such a major role so quickly. It didn't add up for everyone watching from the outside. And according to some deeper reports circulating, Erika may not have been stepping back privately during that time at all. There are claims suggesting that within days of Charlie's passing, she was already in meetings, organizing plans, and laying out strategy for TPUSA. That timeline has only added more curiosity to an already complicated situation. While people were watching her emotional moments on TV, there are claims she was already making major moves behind the scenes. The shift into this powerful boss role happened so fast, it left a lot of people confused. And that's where some started noticing things didn't fully line up. Now this lawsuit takes things to another level. The former assistant, someone who was reportedly very close to Erika, is saying the work environment was nothing like the values Erika publicly speaks about. Instead, it's being described as intense, high pressure, and eventually crossing a serious line. According to the filing, things escalated during a heated argument. The assistant claims Erika lost control, and it went beyond words. She alleges there was physical contact that led to a concussion. That's not a small claim at all. A concussion is a serious injury, and hearing this from someone who was around daily behind closed doors is exactly why people are starting to question everything. This case isn't just about compensation either. It's about accountability. The assistant is framing it as emotional harm caused on purpose, which adds even more weight to the situation and raises bigger concerns about what was really happening behind the scenes. And it doesn't stop there. Other voices have started digging deeper into Erika's past, adding even more. Attention to the story. One detail that caught a lot of eyes was something being called the more far situation. It might sound small at first, but online investigators are treating it like a major clue. Erika has publicly referred to her paternal grandfather using a term that actually translates to mother's father in Swedish, and that sparked confusion. From there, questions started growing about her background, including parts of her family story. Some reports suggest there may have been more family presence in her upbringing than what was previously described. Now it feels like every part of her past is being re-examined in real time, and the more people look, the more questions seem to come up. So now the argument being pushed is simple but heavy. If someone might be getting small personal details wrong, like family labels, then people start wondering what else might not fully line up. And that's where the situation starts to grow, because this isn't the first time.
What's crazy to me is that she already knows the shoes that she just filled, yo. She knows the responsibility, she knows the mission, she knows the end goal, and she still took it, of course.
Questions like that have come up around her story. There was a moment where Erika said she had never dated anyone before Charlie, presenting a very clean and straightforward past. But then online digging brought up reports of previous relationships, and not just quiet ones either. There were mentions of appearances on a dating-style show, which immediately made people question how those two narratives fit together. On top of that, there have also been ongoing rumors suggesting she may have had a prior marriage before Charlie. None of this has been clearly confirmed in one direction or the other, but the conversation online keeps building. At this point, for many observers, it's no longer about one detail. It's about a pattern they feel they're starting to notice. Then came that speech in March 2026, where Erika addressed young men during a public appearance. The message itself was framed around confidence and not letting others bring you down. On the surface, it sounded like a motivational talk, but reactions were mixed, and some people felt it didn't land the way it was intended. Critics said it came across as trying too hard to step into a leadership role that didn't naturally fit her style. Others felt the tone didn't match what they expected, and that disconnect only added to the ongoing debate about her position and direction. Supporters and critics both had something to say, and the divide became even more visible. At the same time, changes within the organization began raising even more attention. There were efforts to reshape the brand and expand into schools and colleges more aggressively. But instead of smooth growth, some local groups reportedly started pulling away, saying they weren't aligned with the new leadership approach. That kind of pushback only added more pressure to an already tense situation. And then things took an even more serious turn when online discussions started drifting into much deeper territory. Some commentators began hinting at possible internal conflicts surrounding Charlie Kirk's passing.
A whistleblower, or I should say there was a whistleblower, because now they're gone, just disappeared.
Using words like betrayal and broken trust, these claims are not confirmed, but they've been circulating and gaining attention across different platforms. When people look at how much Erika's role expanded afterward, from leadership control to increased visibility, some begin connecting dots on their own. That doesn't make those conclusions accurate, but it does show how quickly speculation can grow when there are unanswered questions. Now, with the assistant's legal case unfolding, some are wondering whether that situation could reveal more about what was happening behind the scenes during that time. What started as one lawsuit is now being viewed by some as part of a much bigger picture, and that's why the attention around this story keeps getting stronger. And this is where everything starts to feel way bigger than just one lawsuit or a few mismatched stories. Because once people begin looking at a situation through that lens, every small detail suddenly feels important, every timeline gets questioned, and every move starts to look calculated instead of random. The assistant at the center of this case isn't just some distant employee either. This is someone who was reportedly close to Erika on a daily basis. Someone who saw how things operated behind closed doors when the cameras were off and the public image didn't matter. That kind of proximity is exactly why the situation is getting so much attention right now, because people believe she may have seen things others never did. Think about it for a second. If someone is working side by side with you, hearing private conversations, watching how decisions are made, and seeing who comes in and out of your space, they're in a position to notice patterns. And when that same person steps forward with claims like this, it naturally makes people stop and look closer at everything surrounding the situation. What's really adding to the intensity is the timing. All of this is happening after Erika's rapid rise into a position of major power and influence. That alone would already bring scrutiny. But now with legal claims involved, it's like the spotlight just got.
Cannot go so far as to suggest that Loretta, Abbas, Stanley, Wallstad, Franzwey was openly committing fraud. We can't say that. What we can confirm to you, however, is that if she was doing that, breaking the law and committing fraud is something that Lori's family is kind of historically known for.
10 times brighter. People aren't just watching anymore, they're analyzing every move. And then there's the question of environment. The assistant is describing a workplace that, according to her claims, didn't match the calm and composed image presented publicly. Instead, she's pointing to something much more tense, much more demanding, and at times overwhelming. That contrast between public persona and private reality is exactly what keeps drawing people deeper into this story. Because let's be real, when someone builds their image around certain values, people expect consistency, and when there are claims suggesting something very different behind the scenes, it creates a gap that people want explained. That gap is where most of the attention is sitting right now, and it's only getting wider as more details come out. At the same time, the online conversation isn't slowing down. It's speeding up. Every new claim, every resurfaced clip, every document people find, it all gets added into one massive narrative that keeps evolving. And the longer there's no clear response addressing these points directly, the more space there is for speculation to grow. Another layer to this is how quickly Erika stepped into leadership after everything happened. For some, that move looked strong and decisive. For others, it felt unusually fast, like things were already in motion before the public even realized what was happening. That difference in perception is a big reason why opinions around her are so divided right now. There are people who believe she's simply taking control in a difficult situation, doing what needed to be done to keep everything running. But there are also people who feel like the transition raises more questions than answers, especially when paired with everything else that's now being discussed.
This is really strong. Okay, that's good. Beautiful blonde hair, her smile, her radiance. I can tell that she's got not only outward beauty, but inward beauty, and that's what I'm looking.
And when you add the legal case on top of that, it changes the stakes completely. Because now it's not just about opinions or online debates, it's about claims being examined in a formal setting where evidence and testimony actually matter. That shift makes everything feel more serious, more real, and a lot harder to ignore. What's also interesting is how the situation is pulling in attention from multiple directions at once. You've got the legal side, the public image side, the leadership questions, and the online investigations all blending into one story. And when that happens, it becomes almost impossible for people to separate one issue from another. Everything starts connecting, whether it should or not. A comment from months ago gets linked to a current event. A past interview gets reanalyzed in a new context. Even small details that once seemed irrelevant suddenly become talking points. That's the kind of momentum this story has built right now. And let's not ignore how fast narratives can shift in moments like this. One new detail can completely change how people view everything that came before it. That's why so many are watching closely, waiting to see what comes out next, especially from the legal process itself. Because if more information does come forward, whether it supports the claims or challenges them, it's going to have a major impact on how this entire situation is understood. And right now, it feels like everyone is just waiting for that next piece to drop. At the center of it all is Erika, navigating a situation where every move is being watched, every statement is being analyzed, and every silence is being interpreted in different ways. That kind of pressure can shape how a story unfolds just as much as the actual facts themselves. And that's what makes this moment so intense. It's not just about what has already been said or claimed.
Want to disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands, good fathers.
It's about what might come next. The unanswered questions, the ongoing legal case, the growing online discussions, all of it is building towards something bigger, even if no one knows exactly what that will look like yet. For now, everything remains in this uncertain space where claims are still claims, questions are still questions, and the full picture hasn't been clearly defined. But one thing is obvious. The attention on this situation isn't fading anytime soon, and whatever comes next is going to be watched very closely by everyone following along. Erika's response to all of this has been intense. Instead of stepping back, she's reportedly going on the offensive, sending out cease and desist letters to people speaking about these claims. It's happening fast and in large numbers, almost like she's trying to shut the conversation down before it gets any bigger. She's especially pushing back against discussions around her public image and the more serious theories circulating online. From her side, this could be seen as protecting her name and reputation. But from the outside, some people are looking at it differently, wondering why there's such a strong reaction instead of directly addressing the concerns. And that's where opinions really split. Some see a person trying to defend herself in a tough situation, while others feel the aggressive legal approach raises even more questions. Because the more people feel like they're being silenced, the louder they tend to get. And that's exactly what seems to be happening right now. Now, with an actual lawsuit in play, things shift again. This isn't just online talk anymore. It's moved into a real legal setting where claims have to be addressed properly. That means there's a process, there are standards, and there are expectations that can't just be avoided or brushed aside. At this moment, Erika is still in a powerful position, but the pressure
encourages every Arkansas high school and college to engage in civic discourse. It encourages all our high schools and our colleges to accept students' reasonable participation in clubs and political or religious speech.
Around her is clearly building. People are watching closely, not just for statements, but for real answers. There's a growing demand for clarity, for transparency, and for a version of events that fully explains what's been happening behind the scenes. And as more attention keeps piling on, one thing becomes clear. This situation isn't slowing down, it's only gaining momentum. Every move, every response, every development is being tracked, discussed, and picked apart in real time. So now it comes down to this. What actually comes out as this situation unfolds, and how will it reshape everything people think they know right now? Because once those answers start coming, they could change the entire narrative in a major way. Now, I want to hear what you think about all of this. Do you believe Erika is just protecting herself? Or do you think there's more going on behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you in the next one.